probably got a lot of questions when it comes to wearing a hair system during the summer. There's no secret if you watched a couple videos that you know if you're wearing a hair system, you have adhesives that you got to deal with, you have sweat that you have to deal with. There's a lot of factors that go into wearing a hair system during the summer, especially in hot places. Today we're going to be taking a couple questions that I've received via Instagram, via email. Make sure that if you want to ask some questions yourself first,
like, comment, and subscribe here.
But also make sure you send me an Instagram message over on my account in the description below. But first, guys, let's thank Lord Hair for sponsoring this video. They've got a lot of lace systems in stock right now if you are looking for that perfect summer piece. Now let's just drop into a couple of the questions. Now this first one is from Naveed. He says, thanks for putting out the informative videos. I've been wearing a hair system since December and I'm still very much in the panic stage when I feel it gets loose, and the panic has only gotten worse as time has gone on. I've gone from monthly to 3 weekly to now 2 weekly maintenance at my salon. Don't fully have confidence at home maintenance as of yet. The system I currently wear is a lace base with poly on the back and sides, and honestly it's been a nightmare and putting me off systems. I keep getting lifts at the front and seepage through the lace when the tape breaks down in other parts. The constant issues of building my confidence have knocked it down and constantly checking in mirrors. He said, I have an office job, I'm quite sedentary and don't work out or gym often, but I do have a fairly oily scalp. What system do you recommend for someone like myself? A lot of good questions inside of this, so Naveed, thank you so much for asking them. So I want to attack this point by point. First, you said, you've kind of actually been going to the salon more and more often because you don't have the confidence. Now this ties into the second part of your question when it comes to, your system breaking down, finding the right combination of base and adhesive to go with your skin type, all this kind of stuff. But, what I recommend that you do first, you need to build a confidence. You've got to get on top of this, right? Because having a hair system doesn't work. It doesn't work unless you have a lot of money and, you're willing to go to a system whenever you need, kind of on like an unlimited package, or you learn how to do it yourself. That way, even if you do go to the salon, at the end of the day, you can still take care of it yourself. If for whatever reason they close, or you just need to do it yourself, like you go on vacation or something like that. So the way that I think that you can really get some confidence that's low risk is the day before that you actually have a scheduled salon visit, try to do a install yourself. That's that simple. That way, if for whatever reason you can't get it done, you can't get it right, the next day that you're going in. So, it might be best to schedule your appointment on a Saturday. That way you don't have to go into work. If you do go into work, just do it on Friday night, try it yourself. Give it a couple shots, okay? Isopropyl alcohol is gonna be your best friend to reset any mistakes that you make, and just give it a shot. We could talk about how to do these installs and the progression, and I'll make future videos on that for you. But when it comes to this, you've really just kind of got to throw yourself out there because there's no other way to build confidence besides that. Now, as far as your system that you're wearing, you're saying that you're wearing a lace base with poly on the back and sides, and it's been a nightmare because you're getting lifts in the front, which is the lace part. And this tape that you're using underneath it is seeping through the lace in certain parts. First, what I would say is using a lace system is generally, it's a little bit more taxing to do the maintenance. It takes a little bit longer for the adhesive to break down, and you actually have to let it soak sometimes in a solvent like C22 or something. You have to be able to get that adhesive out of your hair system, out of the base, and you don't want it seeping through the actual system, but a solvent will kind of pull some of that out. So you can actually take a tub of Tupperware and put some solvent in the base of it, soak the base of your unit in it, and do it for an hour. This will loosen the adhesive and help get it out. And then cotton balls are your best friend. They're really, really gonna help you get out some of that adhesive, but lace is just more taxing to do. So my thoughts are this: if you're using lace because of the breathability of it in the front, then what I would say to you is actually go and get a unit like some of the cross-section ones that I have, which have a poly exterior, has a cross-section of poly, and then there's 4 ventilated compartments that have lace. They're hard to find, I know. I'm actually working on building some myself for you guys, but this is the best kind of combo in my opinion. The second best is poly all around and then lace in the center. You can't really like hold it down as well, but you know, it's still pretty good. I've used it quite a bit, but I in general, like, if I can, I will do anything I can to avoid putting an adhesive on lace. It's just harder to clean. It just takes more time and it's frustrating. But if you're gonna do it, know it's gonna take a little bit more time. You gotta use solvents, you gotta use adhesives. So just make sure you do that. That's my recommendation to you, is you just need to find a different base type. But as far as your adhesive, it sounds like it's not really the right one for you. Now, what I will say is you're getting it reinstalled every 2 weeks now. Now that's not like unheard of. That's not crazy to do a reinstall every 2 weeks. I don't know, like people say that you can get a month hold out of like ultra hold and stuff like that. And I think it's a complete lie. Maybe if you don't do anything and you live in a freezer box, yeah, but going a month with an adhesive, man, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Anyways, thanks for asking that question. I hope that clears up some stuff for you and other people. Now, this next question comes from actually Nate. He's an avid follower here on YouTube. I see him comment all the time, so I really want to take the time, make sure that I get his DM here on the channel. So he said, I want to give you a big thank you for all the hard work that you do making videos, providing experience with hair systems, which, you know, I always appreciate when you guys just let me know you're watching and that it's helping you, because it takes time. But he says, I got my first hair system yesterday. This guy's been watching the channel for like a year and I'm loving it so far. It's a bit poofy now and I'm not sure if it looks fake or maybe I'm just getting used to looking at myself with new hair. Anyway, I watched your last video and noticed that you said that you don't wash your hair system every day. Like yourself, I work out almost every day and I'm a heavy sweater as well. So my question is, when you shower after a workout, do you just wet your hair system with water? I was told by the person who installed my system that I can wash it with conditioner every day. But after watching your video, I'm wondering if you may be giving me the wrong advice. So here's my advice. You know, here's the honest truth. Like, I have not done an actual like scientific quantitative experiment to prove this, but from what I have done and have experienced, this is what I will say. People in the comments, you can feel free to either roast me or just help this guy by leaving your opinion down below. I try to expose my hair system to as few elements as possible besides what's going to nourish it. So a conditioner is great, but like washing the system, most places have, you know, minerality to the water, which I need to actually get one of these myself, but getting like a hard water softener is really, really key. I think that conditioning your hair every day is a lot. This is different than shampooing, but for color treated hair, the recommendation is really maybe a couple times a week to shampoo and condition your hair. What they recommend generally is to use leave-in conditioners, use things like argan oil to moisturize and nourish it, because I actually just like Googled something right now. I said, how often should you condition color treated hair? You should condition color treated hair every time you shampoo. A daily leave-in treatment will help protect color treated hair. At least once a week, use an intensive conditioner. So I've kind of intuitively started to follow this myself. I didn't do it because I just read this right here, but I actually wash my hair maybe twice a week, like actually wet it and then shampoo it or condition it. I actually really like shampoo it like once a week, and I condition it, like wet condition it, maybe twice a week. The rest of the time I'm putting argan oil in it, I'm putting leave-in conditioner, things like that, just because I found that it makes the hair a little bit better quality, a little bit longer. If anybody else has a different opinion than that, I would love to hear it. I'd love to hear why. Leave some feedback. And then next up, I'm gonna kind of consolidate this last one because it's like super duper long, but I'm gonna tell you the story of this guy. I'm gonna put the messages on screen. You can read the whole thing if you want, but so this guy right here hit me up on Instagram and he said, you know, he's got a couple questions. He's been debating getting a hair system for about 7 months now, and he's not sure if it's something he can do because there's not a lot of people in his area that know how to do it. But the real problem is he's talking about the hairline, number one, if it's going to be realistic enough, which, you know, we've talked about a lot on this channel. But the larger problem is actually this comment right here. He said that he's basically moving to another country. He's actually moving to Japan. I talked with him a little bit. He's moving to an extremely small village, probably out in the middle of nowhere, away from a major city. So he's not sure if he's going to be able to keep up on the maintenance, not sure if he's going to have the tools to keep the hair system in good condition. So really his question is that first, he's not going to be able to do all of this stuff himself. Number two, he's not going to have the tools. Number three, he is worried about getting replacements for the hair system. So here's my advice to you. I don't know exactly where you're going in Japan and like what the living situation is, but I'm going to assume a couple basic things: that you have electricity, you have clean water, and you have bathrooms that are indoors, things like that. Now, if that's not true, and I've stayed in places like in the Czech Republic where we didn't have running water, we actually just used some water from a stream and we had to boil it and stuff. But assuming all that is true, first, you need to get to know how to use a hair system before you go on this trip. And you need to learn how to do kind of like your Bear Grylls survival man with a hair system if you want to do this. So assuming that you're going to be in a small village where resources are scant, I would say maybe get a Flowbee. I don't usually recommend this, but like get a Flowbee. It's a automated hair cutter that will cut your hair for you. You just have to have electric, and it can cut your sides for you. So you can kind of maintain your natural hair in that way. Now, as far as a hair system, when it comes to maintaining it, I mean, I recommend everybody learn how to do it themselves, even if they don't do it themselves, because you might go on a trip, you might have to move somewhere, all this hoopla, just like you. So you need to learn how to do this before you actually go. Now, he said that he lives pretty far away from anybody that does this currently. What I would do and what I did when I first started is I actually traveled a couple hours to find somebody that knew what they were doing, somebody that had the heart of a teacher, and had them teach me kind of how to do some of this stuff until I was like, okay, I'm not going to drive 3 hours every time I need to see this person to have it reinstalled or something like that. I'm going to actually figure out how to do it myself. So that's what I'd recommend for you in the beginning is like, drive the distance, learn from somebody that knows how to do it. You can pay them a little bit more if they're reluctant, or just watch some of my videos, watch some other people's videos, all this stuff. Learn how to do this yourself. Get your Flowbee. Next, study up on the different substances that you're going to need. Solvents, tapes. Get a lot in advance. Just prepare. And finally, like worst case scenario, right? I imagine that you'll probably be going to the nearest city, maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months, 3 months, right? So the final question about hair system replacements and stuff like that, just make sure you get a storage locker, like an Amazon locker somewhere, or like a postal address inside of Japan. You can rent a post office box for $50 for like 3 months, and they hold small packages. So what I would do, get everything you need, learn how to do it all in advance, and either bring a lot of hair systems with you, like if you're going to be there for a year, bring 6, just buy them all now, or have them shipped to you on regular intervals, like a month before, shipped to a post office box, something that it's going to be there, it's going to be all taken care of, and it's going to be right for you. So those are my thoughts. Guys, thanks to Lord Hair for sponsoring this video. If you have questions like these, please send me a DM, just leave a comment down below, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you soon.